Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a much more difficult game than it was last week for Liverpool on Wednesday. So let's pick our team for that game. Theo, I'll start with you. Alisson will be in goal, but then probably one or two changes across the back four. Obviously, again, comes with the caveat that as we're recording this, we don't know the injury situations. We don't know about Trent. We don't know whether Robertson might be back. But as it stands right now, what would you be going with?
Should we say we assume Trent won't be back? We'll assume Diaz won't be back. Robertson's behind Jones on the recovery, wasn't he? So he might be back in training, say, tomorrow, but they're not going to start him or anything. So that means Tsimikas has to keep his place. And the other three, it's hard. I don't think Virgil van Dijk was great against Arsenal again. Like, he was standing off too much at the opening goal. I'd be tempted to take him out and just see what a Matip-Konate partnership looks like, to give Konate some minutes there. He was a bit rash when he came on against Arsenal, but at least he's got pace in that back four. And then it's probably going to be Gomez at right back. Personally, if Ramsey's trained enough, I'd like to see Ramsey start this one because it's against an opponent he knows well. And just keep Gomez in at bubble wrap for the week because I don't want to see James Milner at right back against Man City. You just need to keep Gomez fit so he can play against them on Sunday at right back and keep Foden or whoever plays there quiet for that game. So, yeah, I'm going to lean towards Ramsey, but I'd expect it to be Gomez.
Yeah, I thought Calvin Ramsey might have played for the under-21s on Saturday, but wasn't involved in that one. Hasn't done a great deal of training, so we don't quite know where he's going to be. But Lynchy, is it similar for you? Konate coming in again, didn't think he was particularly brilliant against Arsenal, but not the easiest match to come into this. This is probably one where he can sort of stamp his authority a little bit more.
Yeah, I think Klopp will be sort of desperate to get him in the team because I think he's just trying to find some solution from somewhere that something clicks, something changes things. So maybe Konate coming in with, alongside. I don't think he'll drop Van Dijk, to be honest. I think, we'll try. Maybe that partnership will be the one that solves all Liverpool's problems. And at right back, with Ramsey, I wonder whether we'll sort of see him for a while yet. I just think because the situation is as it is, you don't really want to be throwing in a young player. Obviously, his fitness is not quite there anyway. So, it's difficult to pick out a fixture where you think, okay, that would be a nice way to introduce him because he's not coming into a team that's doing well at all. So I think maybe Joe Gomez to start at right back, and I think he'll keep his place for the City game, of course, if Trent doesn't make it. And then, Tsimikas at left back probably picks himself, hopefully. Yeah, I think Tsimikas has done okay. As the backup there, but I think it will be quite nice to have Robertson back again to get you slightly more back towards what you consider Liverpool's first team, and anything you can get back in terms of when you're coming up against City will be a bonus. But yeah, Tsimikas in for this one.
Right, into the midfield then. I'll stick with you, Lynchy. Give you the difficult decision of, are you going with a 2, or are you going with a 3? I think.
Oh God!
I'll tell you mine first. I'm going to go Fabinho and Henderson. I don't want to risk Thiago ahead of City, so I'm going to go for a 4-2-3-1. Fabinho and Henderson.
I think because of the Diaz injury, I think he might just go back to the 3. I just think that's going to make his mind up, and plus, it wasn't like the 4-2-3-1 was a roaring success at Arsenal either, was it? So I suppose that decision, it's not like he's going to face criticism if he goes back to it. So I think, as he just constantly tries to play this team back into some form, maybe just goes with Henderson, Fabinho, and Thiago maybe, and hopefully with Thiago, as you say, you want to wrap him in cotton wool. I'd agree with that. It's it'd be even worse if he was to be out. But I think just try and get that little unit working again, and maybe with Thiago, if you a couple of goals up, hopefully on around the hour mark, then you can take him out for someone else. That would be the ideal situation, I suppose.
Theo, midfield for you.
Depends on Curtis Jones, really. Like, we know he was back in training, so it depends how available he is. Like, if he's fit enough to start, I'd quite like to see him in a midfield 3, and then you'd have Thiago drop for that. You'd have Fabinho back as the 6, and you'd have Henderson on the right-hand side maybe, but then you could take out either Henderson or Thiago. But like you say at the start, we don't really know yet. Jurgen Klopp won't have his press conference until tomorrow. We won't see him train until tomorrow, and that's when we'll know how close those players are. If you stick with the 2, Fabinho's back in anyway. Fabinho needs to play. If they're lacking this defensive solidity, put your actual number 6 in and see what you can do. Like, you might be low on confidence and low on form this year, but it's a formation he knows well from his time with Monaco. And then I'd lean towards Thiago because it's Rangers. You still expect to have a lot of the ball, be able to pass it around him, and that suits him more than Henderson. you think with the options available, it's so hard. It just depends who's coming back because what would say was the first choice midfield three still looks very slow and was the problem against Brighton. But you just think Rangers surely they've got enough in the locker to beat them. That's not really giving you an answer there, so it depends what you want to do formation-wise. I've given you one for each.
Yeah. I think with midfield, actually, maybe there's an option for. We haven't seen James Milner for a while to come back in to replace Henderson on the right hand side of that three, just as a rotational option, just to maybe a rest makes Henderson rediscover his form before the City game. It's a game where you'd expect Liverpool to dominate the ball, so you wouldn't have too many huge worries about runners off the back of James Milner, and that's been a problem for Henderson anyway. So maybe James Milner does come in on that right hand side a little bit.
I'm going to go for Harvey Elliott. I'm going to play him as a 10, but you can use my 11 either as a 4-3-3 with him on the right, or you can play him as a 10. So I'm going to go 4-2-3-1. Elliott as the 10, Salah and Jota either side, and Darwin Núñez through the middle. I suppose that the front three, Lynch, is going to pick itself. There's not too many of them fit. But no, actually, Firmino could come in, couldn't he?
Yeah, but I think Núñez, let's try and capitalise on the confidence boost of a goal. For he has in the last couple of games been really good as well. Just in his general all-round play. So try and keep that going against a team that you'd hope to get on the score sheet against. And Jota picks himself on the left-hand side, and Salah, what they've done with him this season is not worked. Let's say that. So try and get back to that traditional 4-3-3. Him running in off Núñez and getting those runs on the inside, get him in goal-scoring positions. Let's see a bit more of that.
Yeah, not particularly work for him. Not particularly working for Diogo Jota either. 19 games it is now without a goal for him. I know he's got assists and that sort of thing, but I think if there's one wish I've got for Wednesday, it's that Diogo Jota finally scores again. But Theo, I assume Diogo Jota is in your 11. Who else is in that front line?
Jota is. Jota's on the left. Núñez up front. It depends if we're doing 2-3-1 or 3. If it's 2-3-1, Carvalho is the number 10, and I'm dropping Mo Salah in either. I thought he was rubbish against Arsenal. He had that one run and shot. If taking him off early and then benching him in a game doesn't give him a kick up the backside for Man City, nothing will. So let's see what Harvey Elliott looks like on the right. Like, it's a position he knows from Fulham, knows from Blackburn. He scored goals in the Championship. Sort of on Rangers level, if we're being honest, if we're not doing too mean to him. Just to see if he can be an actual rotation option there and do something. He's got this relationship with Carvalho anyway, so in a 4-2-3-1, they could link up reasonably well. Otherwise, it's just, can you actually be the Salah understudy on the right-hand side? It's your best chance to go and get a goal or something in that position, because we all know Salah's going to start against Man City. So, go for the youth. It's not worked what we've been trying so far. Try something a bit different and hope for the best.